Hey there folks, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Mafex, the Amazing Spider-Man Black Costume Spider-Man, aka the Symbiote Spider-Man. This is based off of your classic 90s version of the black suit. It's Mafex's 147th figure, so that's pretty cool. Taking a look at the box real quick, we'll tilt this up just a little bit more. You can see that this is your classic style Mafex box, unlike the newest Mafex Spider-Man, the classic costume version. This is the previous style box that a lot of the figures match. You can see on the side we got the Amazing Spider-Man, a classic shot of old school black suit Spider-Man, shot of the figure. Go to the back, we get a couple of shots of the figure as well. Up top again, the Amazing Spider-Man, a shot of black suit Spider-Man, Marvel little logo, more pictures of the figures. So there you go. Let's have a look at the box. We'll get that out of the way because we don't care about that. Taking a closer look at some of the stuff this guy comes with, you got yourself the two kind of shorter thwip webs, which is very cool. Again, it's nice to see these in white. I don't have too many webs in just white. Most of the figures I have, they're all translucent type webbing, so that's pretty cool. And we get a set of slightly longer thwip webs, so that's pretty cool. I like these. And they also come out pretty straight. They've come out pretty straight, unlike a lot of the figures that I get where they're all kind of bent up and stuff. You get not one, but two of these swinging webs, which is very cool. And I like the details on these. And like I said in the previous video, or the previous review, I'd like to see somebody do a set of white webs like this and actually paint them, give them a black wash. I'd like to see what that looks like. I might try to do that at some point. But it would be nice to see a company do that to see how it looks. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of webs, we get this web backpack, which is pretty cool. And I have a lot of different backpacks for Spider-Man, but not a web backpack. So this is a pretty cool addition. I like this. These straps are a bit hard, so be careful. I'm sure somebody has broken these, so be careful with the with your straps here. I have put this on the figure once already, and I did bend his arms to about that position, and they seemed to be fine, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit questionable, so be careful. But that's still pretty cool. It's almost got like a, I don't even know how to really describe the texture that this has, but it doesn't look a whole lot like webbing, but it's still pretty cool. I like that. We get an interchangeable black suit Spider-Man head, the Symbiote Spider-Man head. So here he is. You can see he's looking pretty angry. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Oh, and we lost it. Taking a look at that. I like that, like the shape of the eyes. Very, very nice. I haven't really put this head on the figure yet, just because, I mean, you really can't go wrong with the McFarlane style. You know, that's straight up McFarlane, pissed off, angry black suit Spider-Man. I just can't justify taking this off the figure. It's great. So this is the head that's gonna stay on it, opposed to this one. But they're both really good. They're pretty similar, if I'm honest. They're both very similar to McFarlane, but I would say that this one gives me a little bit more McFarlane vibe, and I don't know why, even though this one has it as well. But I would say this is straight up more McFarlane. You also get an interchangeable Peter Parker head, which I gotta say is absolutely phenomenal. I love this. I love it a lot. The paintwork on it is really good. The sculpt work, everything on it's really good. I wish I had one of the previous Mafex comic Spideys so I could show you the evolution of the face, because this specific figure does not come with a Peter Parker head sculpt, unfortunately. But I love this. I love the paint, the symbiote going up the neck. That looks really good. And it's a little bit hard to tell here, but the stubble is actually a mixture of paintwork and sculpting. So there is a bit of a rough texture sculpted onto the face, just to give it a little bit more life. I do really like that, and I also really like the idea of just using this Peter Parker head as a regular Peter Parker head. Obviously, It has the stubble, so that kind of throws it off. But if you want this to be like a little bit of an older Peter Parker, I like that. However, the kind of stubble that he has is more like, it's more like stubble that has just grown due to, you know, not shaving, which is more for the look they're going for here is a distraught Spider-Man, somebody who's taken a little bit less care of himself, and the symbiote's kind of possessing him. Whereas, like, if somebody's like intentionally growing their hair, you usually see. It depends on how your hair grows, I guess, but you usually see the little dips down on the side of the chin here. See where the facial hair dips. People try to shape it a little bit more. This is just rough and just good old rough facial hair. So this is more of like a distraught kind of like. I don't really know how to describe it, but if you guys get what I'm saying, then hopefully you get what I'm saying. I don't know, but I really do like this. I love the texture in the hair. I think the sculpt of the hair is really good, and then they've come a long way, I must say. Now this is an attempt at repainting a TASM 2 head sculpt. I definitely need to do this again, but focusing on the hair, you can see just how hair-like that looks compared to this. I don't mean to bash on that TASM 2 figure because I do plan on making that look better, but you know, we're spending a lot of time on this head sculpt because it just really is that good. So just getting a chance to look at this on the actual figure, that looks really good. I did hear somebody mention, I can't remember whose video it was, I think it was probably Unparalleled Universe. I think he's the only channel that I've watched this figure review for so far, but he mentioned something about wishing that the figure came with a more angry expression for Peter Parker, which I gotta say I agree. It would have been kind of cool to see like an open mouth Peter Parker, but since I'm in the boat where I didn't get a Peter Parker head with this, and I don't have a previous comic Spidey from Mafex, I'm kind of glad it's a little bit more neutral because I do plan on using this for some photography with my classic suit Spider-Man. But it would be cool to get two heads and one of them have much more of an angry expression. So I do agree with him when it comes to that. And we just lost the neck. So putting all that aside and getting the Spidey head back on here, we'll put that aside and take a look at some of the other accessories he comes with. He comes with these web grabbing hands, which just to show you real quick, they work out nicely, very nice and snug. Don't have to worry about nothing there. I have noticed that these hands don't have the black dots on them, so that's a bit interesting. I don't know if that's off the top of my head, I don't know if that's something that McFarlane did with his artwork, or if that was something that was added later or before McFarlane took on Spider-Man. I'm not entirely sure, but I did notice that. And again, I really like this holding system that we've got with the new Mafex figures. It's very, 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 very handy. We got some classic wall crawling hands, so that's pretty cool. Definitely love these guys. Very smooth looking, not a whole lot of details in the hands as far as like tendons and knuckles and things like that. They're very smooth looking. Here you got thwip hands. So if you wanted to use this as like a black costume Spider-Man, like the one that Black Cat made for Peter, then you could use the thwipping hands. I don't tend not to use the thwipping hands because the black suit costume produces its own webbing. So I usually stick with the fist hands for when I'm shooting out my webs. But if you want to go with the idea that this is a black fabric suit, then of course you're going to want your thwip hands, but I tend to use it as the actual symbiote suit. And then here you got these magnet feet. Very, very cool. You got the toe articulation right there. Some nice magnets right there. And speaking of magnets, you do get a set of wall crawling magnet hands, which is very, very cool. Mafex is always providing these, which is very, very appreciated. Moving on to some of the other accessories, you do get, let's back up a little bit here. You do get your standard Mafex base. It's got the small clamp this time around, so that's pretty cool. You get this little pole, which you can kind of place here if you want. So you got that. And then you've got this system here, which is another kind of waist grabber. And then you got this, which is kind of like a crotch cradle. So you can kind of remove this here, take this one, and you can place this, is it upside down? I don't know, but you can place that there, and you can interchange that with this, and you can have a little bit of crotch cradle. And throw this on there. I haven't tried this out yet, but you got that. So that's pretty cool. I like that. As far as I can tell, this figure didn't come with one of those pieces that you could throw on the top of here for your webs. So I don't know what this pole would really do. I don't know what good this pole would do as is, unless you had Spider-Man kind of coming off this. But I wouldn't recommend balancing the figure on just this one pole. So yeah, I don't know why it came with that. Anyway, getting to the actual figure here, the meat and potatoes of the review. This guy is great. I love this guy a lot. He's very, very cool. He definitely is very in line with the red and blue suit. Of course, this is the same sculpt as the previous ones, so he looks really good compared to those, for sure. But moving on into the spider here, you can see that that is, of course, sculpted in there, and it looks very, very clean. It does definitely gives me the. It's very reminiscent of the McFarlane, or not the, well, I guess McFarlane, but very reminiscent of the Mafex Venom with the style of spider that they chose, which I do like. Very consistent with that. So I do really like this sculpt, and it's very clean looking, of course. Looks great. You can see, of course, the spider goes up as far as you need it to on both sides. So that's cool. And it's a little bit hard to tell just because of this lighting here. So let's see if we can adjust this. Turning off that color for just a moment, you can see that this figure has blue shading. It's very, very, very subtle, but you can see it on the figure. You got a little bit on the top of the head, a little bit on the side of the neck there, the shoulders, a little bit right here. You got some nice blue shading, which is very, very cool to see. A black suit Spider-Man with some shading is very, very subtle, which I think makes it most useful in my opinion. So yeah, I do like that. But getting some of the attitude back in here, some of the pizzazz. We'll turn that back on. Yeah, guys, I really do like this figure. It looks really good. So we're gonna get into the articulation and then take a look at some size comparisons. With the head and neck joint, you can look back this far. Very, very, very cool. With them both combined, they can pop off. With them both combined, you can bury the chin right into the chest. And then, of course, you get the rotation at both. And then you can pivot all the way down. This side looks like it's... Oh, there it goes. Go all the way down. You get your butterfly joints, which gives you a nice range. You can get the arms to come in that far, right across the body. Far back. All kinds of nice rotation in there. Or, I consider that a rotation. And you get the arms to come up this high, give you a nice Y. A rotation at the shoulder, of course. A bicep swivel. Some double joined elbows that look really good. The sculpt work, again, looks very nice. It's not very ugly, which is something you can expect from other figures. And you get a ball joint at the wrist, so you can really get the wrist in any sort of position that you want to. And then with the waist, or with the diaphragm and waist joint, you can get the body to tilt to the side this far, and again on the other side, get it to go that far, crunch forward about that much, definitely go back very far and get that Mafex. That actually might be kind of cool for a picture, but you can get them to go back like that Mafex dodge, or that, not Mafex, the Matrix dodge. And then of course you get a rotation at both, and then you get some nice drop down hips that allow you to kick out about that far, which is alright. Not too bad at all. And then you can kick up about that far. And then you get upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, which come in very nicely. And then again, you get a ball joint at the ankle, so you can do rotation, back and forth. And then you get the ankle pivot. So you get all kinds of range in there. And then you get your toe articulation. And another thing is you get the bottom of these feet painted blue, which I really, really like. Very reminiscent of the early Black Suit Spider-Man artwork. So that's pretty cool. Backing up here, we're going to take a look at some size comparisons. Alright guys, so taking a look at some size comparisons. Here you can see he is compared to a work in progress TASM 2 Spider-Man. I generally don't throw this figure in too much because he's not the same height as he was. I have adjusted his height through his hips, and also I did do something to his neck. The reason he's here is just because I wanted to throw him in a video, so he's not very helpful for a size comparison, because if you have this figure, mine is not the same size, obviously. So he's not very helpful, but I did want to throw him in here. And this figure has also been adjusted in height, because I actually swapped their neck joints. So the little ball joint that was in his neck is now in his neck, and vice versa, because I wanted his neck to be a little bit longer and his to be a little bit shorter. It worked out nicely. So both of their heights have been adjusted, his in multiple ways, his in just the one. But I wanted to throw them in because they're Mafex Spider-Mans, and why the hell not? So there you get your Homecoming, Mafex Spider-Man, and your TASM 2. Throwing in a couple more Mafex. These ones are factory. So if you got these guys, this is how he'll stack up with them. Here's your Mafex Far From Home Upgraded Suit Spider-Man. And again, here's your Mafex Classic Costume Spider-Man. I did mention in the last video that the knee wasn't bothering me. There's some clearance that's not happening in the knee. As you can see, this guy's knees are straight out. This is not happening with this. So I'm going to go in there and try to fix that. And I'm also going to do the shoulder swap at some point. But here he is compared to your comic Spidey and your Far From Home Upgraded Suit. Throwing him next to some classic Spideys. Here he is compared to the Reveltech Spider-Man, and then your retro card classic suit Spider-Man with the Ditko head. As you can see, he's a little bit short compared to this guy, but over here he is somewhat in scale. Then again, he's got his legs really far apart, so keep that in mind. But just to get some Spider-Man action up in here. And then throwing in an oldie but a goodie, your face-off Toy Biz unmasked Captain America, right next to the modular Iron Man from Hasbro Marvel Legends that came out last year. So I think these guys look pretty good together. So that's cool. You get your 90s Iron Man and your old school Captain America with your 90s Black Suit Spider-Man. I think these two work pretty well. This one's a little bit outdated in terms of his proportions, but it's cool to see these guys right next to each other. So that's it for size comparisons. I can't think of any. Actually, you know what? I got one more. We'll throw in a Symbiote. I'm not going to throw in my Venom right now because I don't know what that was. I'm not going to throw in my Venom right now because he is currently on the workbench. So I'll throw in this Marvel Legends Carnage, which I plan on doing a video for because I think he's a pretty cool figure. But let's get him out of here. This video is long enough. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, maybe hit that subscribe button, and maybe hit that notification bell. That would all be greatly appreciated. And of course, until next time, true believers.